terrifying facts about airplanes. The airplane is a feat of modern engineering, a symbol of humanity's ongoing innovation, a gateway to anywhere in the world, and a condemnation to screaming babies, a constant whirring drone and a megalopolis of bacteria. Whichever you choose to believe more in, these top 10 terrifying facts show just how skin-crawling the fruit of our modernization can be. Every plane crash is unique, and the safest seat is impossible to calculate until the wreck actually occurs. The most advantageous position will be dependent on the type of accident. It varies if the jet succumbs to a nosedive, rolls or land on water. However, estimations have been made on the most secure place to be. In 2012, a group of researchers used an uncrewed Boeing 747 replete with crash dummies and crashed it in an attempted emergency landing into the Mexican desert. The front of the plane was found to fare the most poorly. The cockpit was mangled, some seats were flung hundreds of feet, and because of the sheer destruction, live passengers would have likely been seriously injured or killed. These findings are supported by a 2015 analysis by Times Magazine of the Federal Aviation Administration's CSRTG aircraft accident database. That the location people go to relieve themselves is not the dirtiest place on a plane is surely an alarming statistic. A 2015 study by TravelMath found that, although flush handles had 265 bacteria colony-forming units (CFU) per square inch, there were 2 other gut-wrenching locations with even more pathogens. Seat back trays were the most happily bacteria-colonized places on the aircrafts, with 2,155 CFU per square inch. That's an eye-opening 8 times higher than flush handles. This is likely because of cleaning limitations. Between flight staff have the opportunity to remove rubbish, but not to perform a more thorough sterilization. Disgustingly, an Auburn University study found that bacteria in this location lasted for longer than any other, at 7 days. Overhead vents were also less than hygienic, at 285 CFU, while seatbelt buckles and headrests, found with E. coli present, also raised red flags. With between 150 and 350 people on board each flight, the potential for germ spreading is almost infinite and horrid. Airplane blankets have a notoriety that rivals that of Al Capone. An inquiry by the Wall Street Journal's unit of investigative journalists found that the majority of these polyester fleeces are washed merely once each 5 to 30 days. On top of this, they are reused between washes for a slew of individual passengers. One lucky passenger will be fortunate enough to receive the blanket on the magical day that it is cleansed, but each thereafter will be subjected to increasing bouts of nastiness. Boredom at work is one of the most prolific issues that can plague some employees, but a plane cockpit isn't exactly the ideal place to catch some shut-eye. A survey was conducted by the European Cockpit Association in 2012. It involved 6,000 pilots being assessed for a fatigue barometer. 3 out of 5 pilots in Sweden and Norway admitted to making mistakes in their line of work due to fatigue. And in Germany the statistic was 4/5, but there were more alarming figures involved. More than 40% of British pilots confessed to visiting Slumberland at the controls of a passenger jet.